So what would be your best preaching moment from your own estimation?
My best, I think I write about it in that book, What Makes You So Strong. It was one of the sermons. The best, the most effective, surprisingly effective preaching moment for me was when the Black Theology Project was in Cuba. The year that we were asked to participate by Raul Suarez in the dedication of the Martin Luther King Jr. Center right next to his church in Havana, Ebenezer Bautista Iglesia. And we had Y.T. Walker with us. We had from Columbus, the rapping preacher, he was with us. James Cone, Noel Erskine. We had some heavy hitters in that group, Black Theology Project. And Raul asked me to preach, which was scary in front of those guys and girls. Carolyn Knight was with us. And I preached on that Sunday night in the dedication, and I preached on the transformative power of the gospel of Jesus Christ, and how when your life seems to be at a dead end, that's not the dead end. Don't ever mistake comma for a period. You think that's the end of the story. And to illustrate it, I use that famous story that Fred Sampson uses about the king has another move. Okay. Now all week long, starting that Monday, Raul asked me to do the sermon that following Sunday. When the Black Theology Project used to meet every year in Havana for the theological jornada on the life, work, and ministry of King, we had translators seated behind a glass partition who did simultaneous translation of the papers that were presented by theologians from North America, Central America, Caribbean, South America. When we left the United Methodist Church, First Methodist Church of Vedado, and went out into the countryside, there were no simultaneous translations. So you had translators in little groups of 4 and 5 telling you what was being said. My translator that I got close to and I rode the bus every time we were going somewhere was the same age as my oldest daughter, Janet. She had never been in the church. She had never heard the story of Jesus. She was not a communist yet. She had applied to the Communist Party. So I practiced my Spanish, and she practiced her English on the bus rides, going different places. And because I had Spanish from 4th grade to 11th grade, but if you don't use it constantly, so I'm trying to practice my Spanish, and I'm telling her the story of Jesus in Spanish. She never heard that, and she was interested. She said, I need your manuscript for your Sunday sermon. I said, I'll give it to you. Tuesday, we get on the bus. We're going out to Matanzas to the seminary. I need your manuscript. I said, I'll give it to you when I get it. She said, I must have it. I said, I'll give it to you. Wednesday, she said, you haven't given me your manuscript yet. We were going somewhere to the Haitian community to look at the Haitian-Cuban reality. I said, well, I can't give it to you till God gives it to me. Now, to a non-church person, what are you talking? You sound like you're crazy. What do you mean God gives it to you? I said, the papers that you get from these theologians, ethicists, historians of religion, have technical terms that you have to translate. Sermons aren't like that. Don't worry about anything difficult. It's not going to be like that. There's no words you have to look up. She never heard a sermon. She had never heard a sermon. Friday, she's spastic. Where's the manuscript? I said, I still don't have it. I promise you I'm going to give it to you before Sunday. On Saturday, I gave her the manuscript. And when she got it, she said, gracias, gracias, gracias. Now, please observe, this is a very important point. I might say something that's not in that manuscript. And she says, ¿por qué? Why? I said, well, I told you sermons are not like intellectual papers. Sermons are like the bread of heaven that you're feeding the flock of God. All of this is weird terminology. Look at it. I said, and sometimes God gives me some bread right out the oven. It's too hot to put on paper. It'll burn the paper up. She's looking at me. I said, don't worry. If I go off script, I'll let you know. I'll tell you. Okay. Sunday night, while preaching about that period and comma and looks like a dead end, I'm working my way towards Fred's sermon illustration about the Watts painting of The Audacity of Hope, or The Audacity to Hope. She was on the floor because they didn't let women in the pulpit. Ebenezer Iglesia Bautista, the Baptist church. So she's got a music stand on the floor and I'm up in the pulpit. I get down to the end of my sermon, I was talking about when Dr. King was killed in 1968. It looked like, period, that's the end of the movement. Now, please remember there's been a blockade in Cuba since '58. We're down there in '88. They don't know nothing about we have effectively shut Cuba out. So these young people, she's the same age as Janet, so she's born in '64. 4 years before King was assassinated. She doesn't know what I'm talking about, but she's translating. And the worshipers are looking at me like Stonewall. What are you saying? We thought it was all over. We thought that our movement was, they don't, what movement? I see I'm not getting through, and you know that look in your parishioners' eyes or in worshipers' eyes when your sermon is not connected. And I'm saying, oh God. They don't understand what I'm saying. I'm trying to show how utterly hopeless it looked for us, and they're not getting this at all. And I'm, oh God, I can't reach them. And some bread came from heaven right at that point is when I started talking about Fred. Fred's sermon, and I guess your viewers know it, talks about how the woman has one string on her harp, and no, the Watts painting was not that painting. It was of the devil, Mephistopheles, and Faust at a chess table. Faust had a queen, a king, and a pawn left. Maybe a bishop, one, 4 pieces. The devil had almost all of his men. He's sitting there leering. And the painting is called Checkmate. And every day, tourists would go through the London Gallery with the tour guide explaining how much the painting cost, who the artist was, what materials he used, how much is insured for Lloyd's of London, moved to the next painting, same thing, next painting. And this one day, nobody noticed that one man lingered behind in front of that painting, Checkmate. And they went to the next painting. He stayed right there, pacing back and forth, staring at the painting. 2 paintings down, 3 paintings down, next gallery over, when they heard his voice coming through those marble halls. It's a lie! It's a lie! She's translating that. The king has another move. Well, nobody knew he was the Russian international champion. To the ordinary eye, it looked like checkmate. The game is over. To the master's eye, he could see a move the ordinary eye couldn't see. And I said the same thing happened in 1968. When King fell dead to the balcony in Memphis, Tennessee, or the Lorraine Hotel, it looked like checkmate. The game is all over, but God said it's a lie. The king has another move. So by this time, some of our people are on their feet, right, from the States. And I said, it gets better than that. One Friday afternoon at 3 o'clock, when he bowed his head in death, the devil said, checkmate. And all night Friday night, it looked like, she's translating that. All day Saturday, it looked like checkmate. All day Saturday, all night Saturday night, it looked like checkmate. She's translating. I said, but early on Sunday morning, the voice of God came booming through the corridors of time. It's a lie. It's a lie. Everybody in the church is on their feet now. The king has another move. The king always has another move. And people are not looking at me, they're looking at her. I look over at her. She had stopped translating my sermon and had accepted Jesus Christ as her Savior. I was praising God at the music station. That's the most effective moment I've ever experienced. Man, you talking about feeling humble.